It All Starts With You is a show where we're going on a journey of self-discovery and exploration. This platform is a place for women who are transitioning and transforming. Hi, I'm Eileen Lemmelman, licensed clinical social worker and psychotherapist. We are embarking on a trip together where I will be interviewing experts and extraordinary women such as you and me. Let's start the show. Hello, 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 my ladies, my dolls, my friends. Welcome to It All Starts With You. I'm Eileen Lemmelman, your host, and I'm so glad you are here today. Mind, body, soul. Mind, body, soul connection. Why is that important? The mind, a healthy mind, keeps us focused and keeps us engaged. A healthy body keeps us active. And a healthy soul keeps us fulfilled and content. When you have a mind, body, soul connection, it's a shortcut to living the happiest, healthiest, most vibrant life that you could live. And don't we want that? Don't we want to live well into our hundreds? Living very healthy, very vibrant, and really content and fulfilled. Well, one of the ways, I like to bring all different kinds of opportunities, all kinds of holistic kinds of ways to deal with this kind of mind, body, soul connection. Today, we're going to be talking about an amazing way to help your mind, body, soul connection. It is through acupuncture. And I know when I say that, a lot of people go, needles, no. But we're going to talk to an amazing acupuncture physician, my new sponsor, and a fabulous guest. And we're going to learn all about acupuncture, that it's a lot more than just needles. And it's a lot more than just, having to deal with her sticking the needles in our body. It's so much more. It's based on Eastern medicine. It's based on Chinese philosophy. And they have a very holistic approach to the mind, body, soul. And that's what acupuncture is. So we're going to take a brief little break now. We're going to watch some commercials. My sponsor, Heather, is our new sponsor. We're going to see her commercial. The sponsor from last week, who is Nina and her Manico. And then we'll come back and we'll meet Heather and we'll learn all about why acupuncture is an amazing kind of treatment and way to deal with your mind, body, and soul. Be right back.
Heather Kerner of East Boca Acupuncture uses the ancient healing of acupuncture to help people feel better physically, mentally, and emotionally. Her experience and journey will inspire and support you on your path to better health. For more information, go to www.eastbocaacupuncture.com or call Heather at 561-528-2021.
Introducing the Manico, a gel nail polish company shifting the beauty industry away from ego and inward to mental wellness and intrinsic beauty. Every color created as a positive affirmation or mantra intended for manifesting abundance and positivity. Begin your manicure and your day by setting your intention with a clear base coat. For over 10 days of gorgeous wear, apply 2 to 3 coats of the gel-like mantra color of your choice. As your nails set to dry between layers, still your mind and focus your energy on the positivity you intend to manifest in the world. Always seal your manicure with our top coat Gratitude and carry it with you. Uplift your energy and atmosphere with the Manico. Shop today at www.themanico.com for more on mindset, manifesting, and manicures.
Okay, so here we are back, and I am so excited. I can't even wait any longer to introduce my guest. Her name is Heather Kerner. She is an acupuncture physician, and she has a very interesting story that led her to acupuncture, or why she chose that as her passion and her career path. So welcome, welcome, Heather.
Hi, Eileen. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you are so welcome. Heather and I go back a little bit. We met each other, and I used to have a center, and you used to do acupuncture. Remember, we used to do the community acupuncture, acupuncture with meditation. It was so beautiful. So it's like a little reunion here today.
For sure.
So tell us, why should we consider acupuncture, and why did you go on the path of using acupuncture as a way to heal?
Well, acupuncture is based on the idea that when things are moving in the body, there's free flow of communication, and we don't experience pain, discomfort, or disease when there's a free flow. I had discomfort and disease, and it was because I was experiencing a lack of flow. I was a rape crisis counselor / victim advocate for the state attorney's office. And after working 60 hours a week, being on call 2 weeks out of the month, I had a condition called endometriosis, which is extremely painful periods, which progressed to adhesions in my pelvis, which pulled on certain organs and just continued to get worse and worse. I had several Western medicine interventions, surgery, hormone replacement. None of it worked. And the truth of it was, through all of that, nobody ever asked me, what is your lifestyle like? How many hours are you sleeping? What's your diet like? Because it's really hard to heal in the environment that made you sick. So it wasn't until I went to acupuncture for something else that I experienced pain-free periods. And I said, wait a minute, what's going on with this? You mean to tell me I had all of that didn't work? And she said, well, it's really simple. When everything is open and flowing, we don't experience pain. So that led me, I was actually headed to law school, and that changed my entire life. I did a 180, and now I'm here sharing it with everyone that comes to see me.
You know, you talk about endometriosis, and I think that is one of the most underdiagnosed and unknown kinds of ailments that women have. I don't think doctors realize that they have endometriosis. And they, blame it on, oh, you just have painful periods. Here, take birth control pills, and let's see if we can, make the pain and you go away.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, really the only true diagnosis is to have surgery through laparoscopy to open you up and see what's going on the inside, which is, a great diagnostic tool. But there needs to be an empowerment. There needs to be more information given, because so many of the tools to deal with endo are lifestyle changes. I mean, diet is really critical, movement is really critical, stress management really critical, and those things are really important.
Oh, wow, yes. All the things that we're going to talk about today.
Exactly.
So tell us, what is acupuncture? I said at the beginning, when people hear that, they go, needles, no.
Yeah.
So tell us exactly, what would somebody expect when they go for an acupuncture procedure?
For sure. So when you come in, I'm going to do an assessment. We're going to talk about where the tension patterns in your body have formed, just based on how we move through the world and receive the world. We might have constitutional weaknesses, we might have lifestyle things that are getting in the way of our healing, but our body has its own innate intelligence, right? You don't think about breathing, you don't think about digesting, you don't think about healing, it knows what to do. sometimes it needs a little help because of lifestyle factors that are getting in the way. So when I put a needle into a certain spot, it sends a message to the brain. It turns something on or turns something off. But really the insertion of the needle, there's some researchers that have called it healing soup. When you put it in, there's about 15 different neurochemicals that can be released at that site that start this healing process that we already know how to do. We just need a little help getting there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I never knew that.
it's very cool.
Yeah. You know, we're talking about releasing energy, and so it flows.
That's the key
And,
word.
you know, especially during these times lately, everybody's so stuck and so contracted and so scared, right? And so like, we don't want to release because we've been told, no, you must stay in your own little space. Don't connect with anything or anyone. And so I would imagine nowadays it's even more essential to get that energy flowing through the body.
Yeah. Well, you really hit the nail on the head because our body is designed to protect by contracting. So when we feel fear, if somebody jumps out at me, I'm going to go like this, right? And when we're in a constant state of fear, our shoulders go up, everything contracts, our breathing gets shallow, we contract inward, so flow stops, right? So that's exactly what happens. And right now, there is a lot of fear, a lot of uncertainty. Anywhere you look, all you have to do is open your phone.
Right.
So yeah, there's a lot of contraction. We're seeing a lot of this. Everyone's got the really tight shoulders up into the neck. So that's really a lot of what we've been focusing on lately is just sending a message of safety to the body, letting it know that we're okay.
Absolutely. You know, this like heightened sense, this hypervigilance that we're all experiencing. We're all just like bracing ourselves for the next whatever is coming, because, you know, that's what we've been just bombarded with, all of this stimulation and not good stimulation.
Exactly.
But, you know, so what exactly, you know, before we go there, I know you said an assessment. One thing I'm curious about is why when you go to the acupuncturist, they look at your tongue. So what is that about?
So the tongue is really neat. The tongue is the only muscle that's not covered with skin, so it gives us a lot of information about what's happening in the body. If blood is not moving in the tissue, the tongue is going to have a purple hue. If it's been stuck for a long time, there's going to be a lot of heat, so the tongue's going to be really red. Also, the coat tells us the state of digestion and fluids. So if things are not moving, there's going to be a really thick, sticky coat. There's also a map of the tongue. So we have a lot of holographic images in Chinese medicine, and the tongue has a map of your body. And so like the tip will be the heart or the spirit or the mind. So if you are really stressed out, you will find if you stick your tongue out, the tip of your tongue will be really red. So it gives, we call it the Chinese X-ray, right? It gives us a lot of information into the inside without having to be invasive.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So, which brings us to another aspect of how you really categorize and identify how to work with individuals. It's so interesting when you sent this to me, the 5 elements that you look at when you do an assessment of somebody, right?
Yeah, it gives me a lot of insight into how you move through the world and how you receive the world and where your tension patterns are going to sort of be created in your body based on how you are interpreting all of the stress signals. Because it's going to be your superpower, but it's also going to be your weak link. So it's also going to be a predictive factor for disease. If we can tell that if you're heading down this path and you're this type, this is going to happen. So we can sort of get on top of that now and also look at it from a prophylactic standpoint versus a corrective standpoint as well.
So let's talk about the 5 elements and what, you know, category each person might fit into. What are they?
I love talking about this. So element sounds very static, and it's important to know that sometimes the translation is phase, and it's because it's dynamic and we have all 5, right? We need all 5 to get through our day, but what's your guardian element? How do you propel through the world? So I like to start with wood, and wood is like an acorn. So if we plant an acorn, that acorn has a vision, it has a plan, it's going to become an oak tree, whether you like it or not. If you put concrete over it, it's going to bust through, it's going to grow around, right? So woods are action driven, right? They have a plan, a vision, and they're going to accomplish. So they always have this very expansive energy, sort of like a tree, up and out, always coursing through them. So it's really hard for woods to actually relax because they're wired to go, they're wired to do, they're wired to accomplish, right?
Those are the type A personalities?
We would call that type A, and it's really because it's just this expansive energy coursing through them. But you can imagine as they have to restrain and restrain and restrain, they start to get hardened, right? And I like to talk about my dad who passed from a heart attack that we had no idea. When we would drive from point A to point B, we were not allowed to stop on the other side of the road because he's like, that's not on our on our way.
We have to make a turn.
Exactly, but that's an out of balance wood, right? That he became hardened and rigid, and so that translated to the next element, which is fire, his heart, right? So it got hardened and stiff, and here we are, right? You know, he's passed. So this is also a passion project for me because I don't want that to happen to other people as well. He was only 60. So had I known, you know, I might have been able to predict those patterns, but
Yes.
everything happens for a reason. But this is why this stuff is important, because this is what will happen. It will go down the cascade, and we can
Right.
stop it before it happens.
So we were talking earlier, and you said to me, you are fire, right?
Yeah.
You are definitely fire. There's nothing that could keep you down, right?
right.
So what you know, what would somebody have, what characteristics do they show that, I mean, aside from not being a TV show host, but what else would predict somebody being a fire element?
Right, so we've all heard the term moth to a flame, right? So we're very attracted to fires. Fires are very charismatic, they're magnetic. If you think about the energy of a fire, or even a candle or a bonfire, it's very upward in nature. So they're very uplifting too. You'll know a fire when they walk in the room because they're just gonna lift the mood. They're gonna be fun and jovial and joking. So that's really how you can tell. They're
Will
also
you
very
say they're
warm.
extroverts?
Extroverts for sure, and they're so at home being an extrovert. It's just how they're wired.
Yes.
So what happens for that is because it's so stimulating, it's so fun, they want more, 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 more. But you can imagine a flame when it goes up, it eventually has to go out. So with fires, that fun that wants to keep going, we eventually need to step back and recharge. Right? So that's
Oh,
how a fire
yes.
can get out of balance. It becomes more and more and more. It's so fun, we don't want to stop.
Yeah, the rebalancing.
But then you burn out, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
rebalancing.
So the acupuncture would actually be really great for anybody, but especially a fire one, element, because
Yeah.
it's a way to replenish. It's a way to like just keep the energy flowing.
For sure, and what is excitement, right? It's adrenaline, it's cortisol. So if that's pumping, I can turn the dial down on that and help you relax. Even though you might fight it at first when you lay down,
Yes,
I
yes.
don't want to be here, I want to be having fun. We can turn the dial down very softly and just allow you to sink in.
So what about, what's a very interesting element that you shared with me? Metal. So talk to me about a metal characteristic.
Yeah, so can you think of an item that's metal?
Yes?
What's one?
This is metal.
Okay, right? So structure, right? It gives us something to hold,
Structure, right.
Think about rebar. Think about, they're using a lot of metal studs now in houses. So we think about that. Think about
Is it like a foundation?
foundation, support, but also think about scissors and axe used to cut, right? When we cut
Oh.
something, we decide, oh, this is a value, this is not. So metal is about deciding what's a value and what's not. So they're very good at looking things, creating systems, perfecting things, going, yeah, that's not gonna work, this is gonna work. It's a very linear, very structured, very organized type of energy. And you can
Would
see
that
how
be a person who like has all these printouts and all these Excel spreadsheets?
charts, color coded,
Yes.
all of those types of things. So you can imagine that we need structure in our day. So we need all 5 elements, but somebody who is very prone to being metal, or if that's their constitution, they're going to be very at home there with charts, with structure. So
when
metal's important.
they're out of balance, when they're too structured and too rigid, what happens?
Yeah, it can be, you've experienced it as micromanaging. I don't want this here, I need it to be here, just very, very organized. It's a very contracting energy, and it's also an inward energy. So they tend to be very aloof, they can, cut you off like a metal, like an axe. I'm not trying to hear that. It's
Yeah,
a very
yeah.
inward, and so it can be hard for them to open up.
So like you said, with a fire sign, you would turn down the cortisol by putting needles in certain
Exactly.
places. So what would you do with the metal?
So metal, it tends to hit the lung and large intestine meridians because we think about separating the pure from the impure. When we breathe in, we decide, oh, I need this oxygen, I don't need this carbon dioxide. Large intestine, deciding what nutrients we need, what's waste. So we would generally treat those meridians because that's usually the first place they're going to get hit. But it's also going to be, if they're super contracted, when I put needles in, I can allow the flow to re-engage in the body.
Yeah. And I think the last one is wood, right?
Well, we talked about wood. So we have earth and water.
Oh, earth and water. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know about what the element would describe earth, but I imagine people that like to dig in the earth, that like to be farmers, that like to plant,
Yeah.
that like to feel the ground underneath their feet. Is that earth?
Absolutely. Well, you hit the nail on the head because the earth is what we stand on, right? It's very stable, it's very sturdy. Earth people are very supportive. And farming, right, what do we get? We get nourishment from the ground. So
Nourishment.
earth people are very nourishing. They're givers, right? They have to worry about self-care because if you even think about what is a very nurturing position, right? A hug, right? So if they're always hugging everyone, that energy is always going out
It's
and
going
not
out.
coming back.
They're not receiving.
And they don't like self-care because that's not how they're wired. They want to be giving. They're at home when they're serving others. So self-care is so important. We hear put the oxygen mask on yourself. It's not just a saying. An earth will burn out if they continue to go, 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 go and not fill up. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a little bit of that.
We all do. We all do.
As a healer and a helper, right?
Absolutely.
We're always giving, we're always trying to help. And yeah, again, we have to really remember to replenish and learn how to give to ourselves. And so the last one is water, right?
Water, yeah. So water can be a shallow puddle. Water can be a deep abyss of an ocean, right? So we're all curious about what's underneath. We have submarines, and when you're walking over a bridge, you look down, it's this curiosity. And waters are our deep thinkers, our philosophers. They bring things up from the depths and out. They're also really good at big picture. So waters tend to be able to see risk very well. They can look at it very quickly and see all the risk, but that can also feel daunting and overwhelming, especially when you look everywhere, and there's risk everywhere today, especially when you turn on the news. So that tends to hit the adrenals or the kidney glands, the glands above the kidneys. So waters can feel a lot of fear and trepidation, so it can be hard for them to take the next step. So when we nourish them and build them up and make them feel strong and secure, then they can feel confident to take the next step.
This is so interesting, and I love this because you really can determine what kind of disease a person has or will maybe contract, the propensity towards it.
Sure.
And how to prophylactically treat it, how to be proactive about it. So if we know we're a certain way, then we can be mindful about it and really balance out the natural instinct that we have, but balance it out with what will counteract it. I love that.
For sure. And there's a natural system of checks and balances. So if you know that one element is out of alignment or screaming for help, we can use the other elements to sort of work with that, because there's a generating cycle where each promotes each other, and then there's one that we call it controls the other. So there's a natural system that we can tap into to help our own element.
I love this.
Very cool.
So don't go anywhere, because this conversation is, I don't know, for me, I can talk about this all day, and I bet you want to learn more also. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to continue talking with Heather about the actual treatment of acupuncture and why it's so necessary to find the best acupuncture physician around. Okay, we'll be right back.
Ruth Pierce is the Relationship Maximizer, guiding you to take all your relationships, personal and professional, to new levels. Building on almost 50 years of marriage and 10 years as a human resource director, she has gained the insights and tips that have created healthier relationships in all areas of life. Ruth now guides others to create relationships that are heart-centered, healed, and healthier. As you maximize your relationships, it will be your time to fly high. For more information, contact Ruth at ruthpierce.com.
Ruth Kraft is a concierge parenting consultant bringing calm to chaos. With more than 20 years' experience, Ruth provides guidance, practical tools, and strategies to empower parents to reach their specific goals. From pregnancy to parenting, her priority is to help reduce the stress and anxiety of parenting. Call Ruth Kraft at 561-632-8469.
Everyone has a story to tell, and I want to hear yours. I'm Eileen Lemelman, host of It All Starts With You. Our stories are a unique way to appreciate, understand, and respect each other. Your story of transformation in life and business serves as an inspiration for us all. I'm offering you a platform to highlight your powerful message and journey. Contact me, Eileen Lemelman, host of It All Starts With You, at itallstartswithyou.live. I look forward to connecting with you. So here we are back with Heather, and we are going to talk about now what other kinds of modalities or kinds of instruments do you use when you, so we're going to bring Heather back, and we're going to talk about how it's not only about needles. By the way, let's just talk about the elephant in the room. Let's really talk about needles. Okay. So I know when I first went, and you were the first one that actually helped me with acupuncture. I was a little nervous with the needles, but they really don't hurt. They're so tiny, tiny. They don't hurt at all. I mean, sometimes you hit a point and it does get a little stingy, but for the most part, it doesn't hurt. So let's talk about the needles, and then what else do you use?
Okay. Yeah, the needles are super fine. We can actually fit 20 of them into one hypodermic needle, so they're that thin. And they're also, like a hypodermic needle has a hole in it to inject. These are solid, so when they go through the skin, they don't feel like a traditional needle that you're used to. Most of the points you don't feel at all. There are some on the hands and feet.
Yes.
The nerves are very superficial, but by the time your brain even registers that you feel something, it's usually gone. I'll say, does it still hurt? And they're like, oh no, it's gone. And I've heard people describe it as like a mosquito bite. Like,
right.
So
yeah.
For the most part, you don't feel them at all. But there are other modalities that we can do to relax the body. Cupping is one of them. It's a suction cup where we put oil on the body with some herbs in it, and we'll put the suction cup up, and then we will drag it along the body. So we have this connective tissue called fascia in the body, and it gets constricted. We're constantly like this. We're on our phones, right? And so it's always trying to maintain what we call tensegrity, or in alignment with gravity. So when we put that on, it creates space for the things that are trapped to flow. So lymph fluid and blood that's stuck in the tissue, that's when we get pain, right? We've all seen Michael Phelps at the Olympics. He had the circles.
Right.
He does this repetitive motion all the time. So the fascia is laying down, building up, and stopping things from moving. So it's really important to do that. We also have herbal medicine, which can be used just like Western medicine, traditional drugs that you're used to. We use it in a very different way. So if we're using a hot herb, we'll put a cold herb in there. So it's very balanced and very few, if any, side effects.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I know. You've done the cupping on me. You know, you do have a little bit of a tattoo for a day.
You can, for sure. If there's stagnation, you will.
But it's sort of like, you know, this rite of passage. Oh, I got cupping, right?
That's it.
So I have a question for you. I had a broken shoulder, and I did physical therapy, and everything was fine for a while, but now it's starting to, you know, hurt again. Do you think the cupping would help that?
Cupping would really help that, as well as some acupuncture. So the reason we have pain, discomfort, disease is because of a lack of flow. So something is happening in there that's not allowing the free flow of chi or blood to move.
Yes.
So,
So we're going to have to end now, but before we do, I just want to have an announcement. You have an announcement to make.
I do. I'm moving into a new space. It's going to be in Boca Raton in East Boca near Meisner. It's off of Camino Gardens Boulevard. And I'm sharing a space with a pelvic floor physical therapist. Her name's Susan Winograd.
She's a
also
sponsor.
been on the show as
Yeah.
well. And it's just going to be a really healing, amazing space. We do a lot of work with women's health, anything related to the pelvis that you could see a Western doc for. We can also be of support. And I'm really excited.
Oh, I'm so excited for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
When you move in, you and Susan will have to come back on the show.
For sure.
Let's talk about your new space and some of the things that you're going to be offering to my audience, which will be so beautiful and wonderful and healing.
I'm excited.
I am too. So thank you so much. We had such a great day with Heather. We learned so much about fire, wood, water, all the elements, and I bet you're trying to figure out what you are. So look it up, and if you have any questions, you can always ask Heather. You can always email her. I think, what's your email, Heather?
Heather Kerner, an LAC, which is licensed acupuncturist, at gmail.com.
Okay, Heather Kerner, LAC, at gmail.com, or you can write me and I'll connect you with Heather. This is so interesting. And you know, the affirmation today is my body heals itself. And that's so true. That's what acupuncture does. It uses your body to heal itself. And we are so resilient, so powerful, so able to do some healing if we give back to ourselves, if we take time to care for ourselves. Because the mind, body, soul connection is vital to living a happy, healthy life. So I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to see you next week. And remember, it all starts with you. You have been watching It All Starts With You. New and exciting opportunities are ahead of you. You are creating your own destiny. Until we meet again, my friends, it all starts with you.